Inoue is getting bored. He said, come on, man. Come on.
Look at this. Hands behind the back.
He hitting him with the Roy Jones.
It's 2022. Naoya Inoue, also known as the Monster, has established himself as one of the most feared fighters in the boxing world.
Monster. Japanese fighter called Monster.
With a reputation for his devastating power and precision, Inoue has dominated 3 weight classes, collecting titles and knocking out opponents in brutal fashion.
And a big right hand that comes in 3-1 from Inoue.
Nascent stages was all she wrote.
His next target, Paul Butler, the WBO bantamweight champion, known for his resilience and tactical boxing skill.
No doubt if he was a stationary target.
Will Paul Butler manage to withstand the relentless onslaught of the Monster, or will Inoue send yet another fighter crashing to the canvas, displaying zero respect for his opponent? By 2022, Naoya Inoue had already built a legendary reputation in the world of boxing. With multiple world titles across 3 weight divisions and a nearly perfect knockout record, fans tuned in not to see if Inoue would win, but how quickly and brutally he would dismantle his opponent. Starting his career in the light flyweight division, he quickly moved up the ranks, winning titles at light flyweight, super flyweight, and bantamweight with ease. His knockout power was extraordinary, with body shots so precise they seemed to break opponents down from the inside out.
Look at how much of his body he puts into it.
But everything was calculated, though. That was not by accident.
And while his power was his most talked about attribute, Inoue's boxing IQ, speed, and defense were equally impressive. Having already unified 3 of the 4 major bantamweight titles, only Butler stood in the way of Inoue becoming Japan's first undisputed champion in the 4-belt era, and the first undisputed bantamweight champion in a half-century. Paul Butler had carved out a respectable career for himself. A 2-time bantamweight champion, he was known for being a technically elite and durable fighter who was no stranger to big fights.
And again.
Lovely shot.
Oh, he's gone down.
Despite the massive challenge he faced, Butler remained confident, believing his boxing skills could outmaneuver Inoue's raw power. He planned to make it a tactical fight, using his movement and defense to frustrate the Monster and take him into the later round.
Training I'd done was perfect. I made the weight probably the best I've ever made it. Dubai obviously helped with the heat, but
Fight night arrived on December 13th, 2022. The arena buzzed with anticipation as the crowd awaited the clash between the ferocious Inoue and the determined Butler. Inoue entered the ring with the same cold, focused demeanor that had become his trademark. Butler, meanwhile, was calm but scarily aware of the challenge he was about to face.
In boxing's 4-belt era, Naoya Inoue and Paul Butler. Among all active fighters, that is double the bantamweight average. First 2-punch combination. Or double jab that time, a 5-punch combination. He went double jab, right hand, left hand to the body. He has landed. Opens up this 3rd round with a combination as Butler's in that corner and desperately needs to get out. He has that left hand up, but Inoue closes range with the jab, gets the inside left hand, came to the body, finished with a left hook upstairs. Used to in recent years seeing Inoue with the right.
I recognize the pattern from Butler. Wonder if Inoue recognizes it.
Right hand from Inoue. Stop Butler's lateral movement for a moment.
You know, I think this was a quintessential round for Inoue. Like I tell you guys in the past, you see Inoue throwing where Butler's moving to cut him off, to pin him on the ropes.
For the first couple of rounds, Inoue wastes no time in asserting his dominance. His punches land with brutal precision, and it quickly becomes apparent that he's not just fighting to win. He was fighting to humiliate. Butler employs an interesting defensive strategy of eating punches, but throwing none back in return.
Just a vicious assault right here. Inoue cornering Butler. He took this fight, he said that, hey, I want to be the undisputed champion. But he's not fighting like that.
Or double jab that time, a 5-punch combination. He went double jab to keep Inoue off of that. There's right hand that comes in, and 2 lefts to the body. Inoue closing the gap into that corner again. Left hook comes in. Inoue comes around the guard with a right. Ooh. Inoue with a body shot as Butler was up against the ropes. What would that do for him, Timmy?
He can open up a big shot.
By the middle rounds, the disparity between the two fighters became glaring. Inoue, channeling his inner Roy Jones Jr., begins to taunt Butler and dared his opponent to throw punches. But Butler, wary of Inoue's power, refuses to engage, continuing to stay on the defensive. This only seems to annoy Inoue, who begins throwing combinations with increasing ferocity.
The fighter that is so defensively minded, you know,
When he fought through a broken nose and a broken orbital bone.
just some more punching bag work right here. They're still maintaining his form and still content with just blocking, but when he does decide to punch.
As the fight dragged on into the later rounds, Butler's face began to tell the story of the night. Bruised, battered, and exhausted, he was running on sheer willpower. But willpower alone couldn't match the raw brutality of Inoue. In the 11th round, Inoue decided to end the beatdown in spectacular fashion.
Made him a punching bag for the entire night.
Naoya Inoue had done it again, dominating, humiliating, and disrespecting his opponent in a way that few fighters can. Butler, who'd come into the fight with hopes of an upset, was left with nothing but the bitter taste of defeat. Inoue, on the other hand, had cemented his place as the undisputed king of the bantamweight division.
This week, when they had the final press conference and the weigh-in to see that last belt end.
In the aftermath of the fight, many praised Inoue's skills and his ability to completely control a fight from start to finish. Others questioned his sportsmanship, noting that Inoue had seemed more interested in prolonging Butler's suffering than securing a quick knockout. After the victory, Inoue moved up to the super bantamweight division, where his ambitions were realized in a historic fashion. In July 2023, he faced Stephen Fulton, the undefeated unified super bantamweight champion. His power translated perfectly into the new division, and he ultimately secured an 8th round TKO victory.
Jab! Forget the power punches, the jab!
The smaller man won the jab battle, and the smaller...
Just a year after his demolition of Butler, Inoue then became the undisputed yet again in his new division with a masterful performance against Marlon Tapales, becoming just the second man to ever achieve that status in 2 weight classes.
Inoue would throw a shot and then hook. Ooh.
And can he beat the count?
For Paul Butler, the loss to Inoue was a significant setback, but he remained resilient. Butler returned to the ring in 2023, earning a solid win in a regional bout and slowly began rebuilding his career. Beyond the belts and the accolades for Inoue, that night was remembered for something else. The night that Naoya Inoue displayed zero respect for his opponent, and in doing so, cemented his legacy as one of the most feared fighters in the sport. If you like this video, then you'll love our video of Inoue beating the odds and against his toughest opponent. Until next time,